Hey everyone, it's your girl Chris, and welcome to Between the Wickets, a conversation series where I step onto the pitch to explore the lives and stories of the professional players who live and breathe the game. Let's welcome today's guest, Saideep Ganesh. Hi, Saideep. How are you?
Hey Chris, pleasure to speak to you today.
Of course. Thanks again for taking some time to be here.
No worries.
I'd love to start with your journey, quite an intriguing one that I learned about. You were born in Austin, Texas, grew up near Delhi, moved to Bangalore at 15, and now you're based in the Bay Area. Tell me about your earliest cricket memories growing up in both Texas and India.
Like I was born in Texas, but I moved back. My parents moved back to India when I was like a year old. So
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
didn't really experience like living in Texas much. So
Yeah.
most of my childhood was near Delhi. Um it's this place called Noida, which is
Hmm.
like yeah, very close to Delhi. The earliest childhood memories probably my dad used to play cricket, so like probably is when I was old enough to hold a bat. Like
Wow.
I started hitting in our at home actually indoors with the tennis ball. My mom wasn't happy because I'd be breaking things
Yeah.
all the time, but
I could
uh
imagine.
yeah. But yeah, me and my dad used to play all the time. I was like 6 or 7. He started taking me to like the park and like started teaching me how to play against like a hard ball,
Mm.
just basic stuff. So my first coach is definitely my dad, and yeah, moved on to a couple of coaches, like some local coaches in Delhi, and then I moved to Bangalore when I was 14, and I was training with J. Arun Kumar, who ended up being the USA head coach like years later, which is a coincidence. And yeah, played for Karnataka when I was 15. Like I played for the Karnataka under 16s and just missed out on Karnataka under 19s. Like I was in the 30 30 player probable list, but I
Oh,
didn't
wow.
end up
Okay.
actually playing under 19s, and I moved right after um I was like done with my under 19s and been in the Bay Area for like yeah, 7 years now. Been playing cricket in the US
Wow.
since 2019. So yeah, been a while now. But yeah.
What inspired the shift to Bangalore? Was it schooling or family
I think
things?
my dad moved. My dad moved
Okay.
before my sister. I have an older sister and she was finishing up high school, so they didn't want um to move her
Mm.
while she was finishing up like her like final couple of years of high school.
Yeah.
So my dad had already moved like 2 years before that, so we just moved because of my dad's work to
Gotcha.
Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What was it like adjusting to the cricket culture in California?
Coming from India, it was pretty hard for sure because you're used to I think you're used to getting things, you're used to having like a big infrastructure around cricket. Like you're
Yeah.
used to having like a bunch of net bowlers and a lot of coaches. Like I haven't had a coach here locally in 5, 6, yeah, since I moved probably. I haven't had a coach in the US.
Wow.
So I think initially it's hard because you're not used to taking responsibility for your own game.
Yeah.
You're used to having like a system around cricket. You're used to having like obviously when you're playing in Karnataka and I was in the system, so you're used to having like the Karnataka board that have camps and you're training with the coaches there. And obviously had a full-time coach in J. Arun Kumar in Bangalore. And I think moving to California, and you're also used to playing on like really good grounds, and you're playing
Right.
um consistently on really good grounds. Like you're never playing on bad grounds, and you're consistently playing on turf wickets. So I think yeah, adjusting initially was really hard because I was also younger, and I feel like I used to get frustrated way more easily
Yeah. Yeah.
than
You're
I do
human.
now.
You're
Yeah,
allowed to get frustrated.
yeah, but way more than I do now. I feel like frustrated with like not getting turf wickets or not getting
Mm.
people to bowl to you. Um, but eventually, I feel like I think I'm. I think I'm a better cricketer for it, having done what like been through the journey in the US for the past couple of years, because I feel like you r really learn how to take responsibility for yourself, and you don't
Yeah,
expect things to be given to you and handed to you, and you kind of become your own coach a lot of the time, which obviously there's pros and cons to that
right.
because, but at least it's better than not like I feel like you can have a coach and still not take responsibility, and you still need to take responsibility for your own game even when you do have a coach. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
so
you're
like
still
while
accountable.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the outfields are much thicker here.
Okay.
And so like we don't play on great grounds locally, especially. Like we do but like in minor league we probably get like better outfields and we play on turf wickets. But like when you play club cricket in the US, most of the time you're playing on concrete and
Hmm.
you're not getting turf wickets and you're playing on bad outfields.
Yeah.
I think that it might sound funny to a lot of people, but like I think playing on thick outfields has actually probably improved my hitting abilities because you actually have
Oh,
to hit the ball in the air a lot more.
yeah.
Because you don't get any value for your shots on the ground, which is yeah, I think I've definitely become a very different player to the one I used to be when I moved to the US because I used to be very much more um I'd say traditional,
Okay.
but I feel like I'm yeah, now I feel like I I've gotten better
Yeah.
at like being a more attacking player, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that comes with, again, you're having a stronger infrastructure in India versus moving here, where
Yeah.
you're taking accountability, but you're also taking initiative to better yourself as a player and be adaptable in the conditions that, are handed to you. Um,
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think being your own coach, obviously you're noticing these things about yourself in terms of being a much more attacking player. Yeah, I think that's interesting. You're also, I guess, in a way, trying to find a solid community in California that could
Yeah.
support you, where I think in India it's a lot easier to kind of get that because of the infrastructure.
I think the community wise in California, I think it's taken time
Mm,
for me to find like a support system, but I think I've been very lucky to recently have a lot of people like I play club cricket down in LA.
okay,
So that's actually really helped because LA we play on turf wickets and a good outfield in Woodley.
yeah.
So I've been playing club cricket for the past 2 years for Caribbean Cricket Club.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, so that's that they support me a lot. They've been giving me opportunities to play on turf, and they like even at the start because I started playing for them right after I probably stopped playing cricket like for a while, and they said, yeah, like in like the first time I spoke to Chris, who's like um the captain slash he just basically handles everything in Caribbean. Like
Yeah,
he's like
yeah,
the main guy over there. But the first time I spoke to him, he was like, "Yeah, like I want you to give you opportunities so you get the confidence, then you can try to make it back into the USA cricket system." Because obviously I was out of it for a while, which was like
yeah.
pretty cool. And like locally, you have like I've had like a really strong support system from like my minor league team owner, who's like Biju Nair,
Yes.
who's the Bay Blazers owner, who yeah, who supports me a lot. Yeah, I think without him, I probably wouldn't have been back playing cricket pretty like seriously that I do now. And there's also Rehan, who's like he supports like Afghan. He's the like there's an Afghans one on team here.
Yeah.
And I play with them a lot, and he's actually been like a pretty big supporter of mine since the start, since I moved here actually.
Wow.
He
Okay.
supports me. I play for his team. We went to US Open, and yeah, I play with them a lot play with them a lot as well locally. But I think the most important part is having like a good training community as a cricketer. I think I've been lucky to find like um pretty good training partners. So I train
Yeah.
with Sanjay Krishnamurthy and I train with Abhishek Paradkar, who are also like I think it's important we're also pretty close friends and we also play for Blazers.
Yeah.
So it's I think we try to support each other's games and try to tell each other because we don't have any coaches around, so we try to
Right.
help each other out. Like we throw to each other and we try to help each other get better at whatever we think the other person is struggling with, or what if we see something in their game that we think they can improve on. And
Yeah.
obviously like tell each other what they're doing well as well, so that we can build each
Right.
other's confidence up. Because yeah, I mean if we don't, then nobody really will.
Yeah. No,
So
that's true.
yeah, I think our training community's been really nice. I think we found I definitely started enjoying cricket a lot more once I started building those bonds with the players around me again.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling like the weight of the world's on my shoulders and I'm in it by myself, you know? Definitely started enjoying it a lot. Um, just by playing and enjoying the company of the people I'm playing with and people I'm playing for. So
Yeah.
yeah, been very lucky to find support.
And I also think it's important to recognize that you do have a community. There are other people like you who are struggling, who are trying to up their game, but also build that community. And I think it's great that, you have this tiny community in like Abhishek and Sanjay where you're able to support each other, but be each other's coaches at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
how has this journey from Texas to India to California, how has it shaped your identity and mindset, especially during moments of transition and uncertainty, both on and off the field? Did you ever find yourself having a sort of identity crisis?
That's a good question. Um, I'd say yes, for
Mm,
sure. I think moving to a new country, it's like because I'd lived my whole life in India
yeah,
and obviously had I was only used to that system and I was used to like my life there. And I think even like I feel like I'm someone who takes at least before I used to take a lot of time to adapt to new situations in my life. I feel like I'm better at it now because since I'm getting older and I'm getting to know myself better.
yeah.
Um, But I think even the move from Delhi to Bangalore, I dealt with it terribly.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
yeah, so as you can imagine, if I was like dealing with the move within India that bad, I think
Yeah.
moving to the US was just like crazy because I didn't know anyone here when I moved initially. And definitely had to figure out what life in the US looks like, um, and what that means, like in terms of me finding myself not just in a cricket sense, but even outside of cricket. I think finding myself, like, as you said, as you put it well, it's like finding my identity and figuring out who I am in this new environment. But I think it's been good because I feel like sometimes I feel like the more time you spend in a new situation, and I think that's true with even like a better level of cricket that you play, I feel like the better you know yourself. Like I feel like you find out things about yourself when you're put in uncomfortable situations
Yeah.
that you didn't know existed even before. Like you realize that new sides to your personality or things that you're good at, things that you struggle with. I think you find out more about yourself when you're put in those kinds of situations. And I think looking back at it, I think I've definitely grown a lot since I've moved to the US. I struggled with it initially, but I think I was speaking to a friend of mine from India recently, like a school friend of mine, and he was like, I don't know anyone from school who's changed as much as you have.
Wow.
And I was like, geez, that's interesting thing. That's an interesting thing for you to say because
Yeah.
obviously everyone's changing all the time. Like even the people who haven't left India and they're still there, they're also changing all the time. But he
Yeah.
said that he doesn't like none of our out of all our friends, I'm probably the one that's like the most different now compared to before, which is like a
Take
cool
it as
thing,
a
I thought.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it as
Yeah.
I hope it was a compliment. I hope it was a
Um,
compliment, but you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez, I know. When you're speaking to old school friends, you never know. But it's quite interesting when you sort of unlock all these different parts of yourself. And I think even smaller connections that you kind of make. I think this is something that I've recently noticed. Like I've been making a lot more newer connections. I think it's just allowed me to sort of change my game and change my trajectory.
Hmm.
And I think being a little more open, because growing up I was always sort of introverted. So when I'm a little more open to that connection, I find that I'm sort of reaping a little bit more than I think I signed up for.
Right.
But it's positive connections, and again, it's always unlocking more about myself, which I think is quite interesting in your journey as well. When you're put in these sort of uncomfortable situations or
Yeah,
situations you don't normally find yourself in.
for sure.
Yeah, you just, it's always a blessing to learn a lot more about yourself as you get older.
Yeah,
So yeah,
agreed. Agreed. And I think I for me I like the more I'm playing now, the more I'm realizing that sports is such a blessing in that sense as well.
yeah,
Because when you're put under pressure, you realize so much about who you are and
yeah,
what you
yeah,
have to work on, and also what you like what you're good at. So you get confidence, but at the same time, it keeps you humble because you don't
absolutely.
always succeed. Like there's
Yeah.
always times that you're not going to do well in sport, um, unless obviously you're like an alien, which
Right.
if you're human, you will fail
Same.
sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's the more I'm playing and the more I'm getting older, it's like I realize how much of a gift it is to actually have stuck with sports
Mm.
through like obviously a lot of people stop playing sports seriously after a certain age, but I feel like I'm blessed that I've been able to hold on to my sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you're supposed to do that. Maybe you're supposed to hold on to your own sport. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, maybe in going through all of your trials and the accomplishments that you've achieved, maybe you've also figured out that there is more to life than just cricket. You know, you're allowed to fail. You're allowed to pick yourself back up, regardless of whether or not you have that support.
Yeah, definitely. I think looking back at it, like at the time, like obviously I just got injured on the USA tour
Mm.
and I'd been drafted for like the first season at MLC for MI New York. And around that time, obviously I was injured and I was like my fitness had fallen off a cliff while I'd been injured and I just couldn't even get through games. Like my fitness was too bad that I wouldn't even get through games. Obviously I developed like bad eating habits. I
Oh,
developed so it was just like a bad time mentally and physically. And I realized that I was not gonna get fit in time for the first season, and like I had some swelling and a disc in my back just because how unfit I was,
yeah.
and like unfit and the load of actually playing sports, and as you were saying, like I found out so much about like life outside of cricket when I actually for the first time I think I was 20. This was 2022, so I would have been 21. I was 21 and I decided to stop playing. And I didn't think I was going to go back to cricket when I'd
Yeah.
stopped playing at all. And looking back at it, that 1 year that I didn't play was probably the best decision I ever made because I feel like I wouldn't even be the player I am today
Mm.
or the person I am today if I hadn't stepped away from the sport for that period of time. And I think I learned so much about myself and about um, life outside of the sport because almost feel like at that time, even though I knew like I wasn't actually living that well outside of cricket, but a good performance back in that time would kind of mask over all the issues outside of cricket because it would
Yeah.
like if I'd made runs that day, none of the other stuff seemed to matter, even though all the other stuff was I was not doing any of that right.
Yeah.
Like
No.
my lifestyle and like obviously it's like it's like social media addiction, right? Like you're not happy, but then you see a funny reel and then you scroll to the next one. It gives you that dopamine hit. That was
Yeah.
almost what cricket had become. So I was playing for it was like I'd play a game and if I'd done well in that game, it kind of mask over everything. But if
Mm.
I didn't do well, it'd accentuate all the bad like
Oh no.
Yeah, so it was like constantly up and down, everything like
Yeah.
cricket because like cricket would make everything so much worse almost
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
in general I wasn't like stable, you know? And I feel like initially when I decided to stop playing, I didn't know what to do with myself because that's like the only thing I had done forever consistently. And I started working some jobs because I
Mm,
didn't know what else to do because I was so unstable that I didn't even think I could go back to school and study because studying actually takes like a lot of stability, I feel, in life.
yeah.
Like you need to be able to sit down, do your assignments, learn things, um, and really apply yourself. But I don't think you can apply yourself when you're so up and down all the time, right?
It's
And I
hard.
feel
It's
like
hard.
I didn't have confidence that I'd go back to school and actually see it through. So I was just like, okay, this is my life now. I'm just gonna work. I'm gonna be yeah, like working, join the workforce, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be working jobs in the US and figure it out like minimum wage style,
Oh gosh.
And that was yeah, that's what I was doing. I started working as a driving instructor for a
Oh
while.
wow.
So I was
Okay.
working at I did that for some time. I was working as a driving instructor and working at Chipotle for a while. So I
Okay.
was
Oh
working those
wow.
two jobs and I was before that I was working at a mechanic shop, which I don't know what I was doing there honestly, because I didn't know
I mean,
much about it.
you worked there.
Yeah, I worked there. I learned I know how to do oil changes now, I guess, and
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's a unique skill I guess that I have now. And like yeah, like my dad got me a job at his friend's garage, and I was just
Mm,
basically shadowing the mechanic and learning. I was like, maybe he'll figure that out.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
eventually that guy got sick of me because he's like, look, I'm not getting paid enough to like teach you what I've
Right.
learned over 20 years of experience of working with cars. Like I'm getting paid to
Yeah.
do my old job, and
Oh
now I
my
have this
goodness.
kid who I just have to teach like everything that I know.
He never signed up for that at
Yeah, he
all.
didn't sign up for it, and I think he got sick of it and I put in a word to the manager. He's like, "Look, the kid's got to go."
Oh my, you're out here just trying to make some money. That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm just out here trying to learn a new skill,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I think I learned so much about what it means to just live outside of cricket,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think then I went back to school. Then I just had like like there's one Christmas where I was just like sitting at home and wondering what I wanted to do with my life and what I wanted to do next, and um, actually realized that I'm not gonna be. I feel like I was taught, not taught, but like before, I used to think about very surface level things. But like, okay, I want to play the next level, or I want to like, what's the next step in my journey? Like, what's the next rung on the ladder
Yeah.
of cricket or anything that I just think about like. But I realized that I wouldn't actually, for me, I wouldn't be happy to like connect everything that I'm doing in my life to something deeper, to something just like more substantial of like helping other people or so like even I went back to school. What I want to do now with my academics is I want to be a lawyer and actually do good in the
Oh,
world. And I feel like
yeah.
that motivates me and a lot more than if I'd wanted to go to school before. Like I have been to university before, but I couldn't see it through because my goal was this is what everyone else is doing. I'm just going to do this and try to get a job. I don't care
Mm,
what job I get. And I feel like when I was thinking about things that way, I just didn't have the motivation I needed to actually see anything through.
yeah.
And now I feel like I'm 2 years into school and I'm moving to LA in September and starting at UCLA
Oh wow.
next
Congrats.
month.
Yeah.
So I didn't think I'd be able to do that a while ago. And I think feel like even cricket now, I've kind of yeah, I'd love to obviously keep playing a higher level and a higher level, but I think the things that I enjoy the most are the simple things about the game, like the camaraderie, like the teammates you find along the way, and um, the people you meet, and being a good teammate, like the feeling that you get of winning together.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously, like you want to play a part in You want to contribute to winning in whatever way you can. And it's not all about me anymore. It's not all about, it's not like
Yeah,
that's not how I look at cricket anymore either. And that's why I feel like that's how I found the love for the game again. Because a bad day for me is fine now if we win. Um,
gotcha.
Still
Okay.
find some happiness in that compared to before. A bad day for me would just like ruin my day,
Yeah,
regardless of
yeah,
what else happens. So definitely, I think you're right. I think, yeah, growing outside of cricket has helped me enjoy cricket more and also just like understand like life outside of cricket in general. I feel that time off and also moving here has been really eye-opening in that aspect of things.
yeah. And it's great that you're just constantly growing and you're open to doing that. A lot of people aren't open to learning more about themselves, and I think that comes from ignorance and just not wanting to grow. But the fact that you're open to it, I think it's really amazing in how your trajectory of life has been moving. Um, your journey has been anything but conventional, from representing Karnataka at the under 16 level and then the USA team to playing for the East Bay Blazers in minor league cricket, the LA Lions in the US Open Premier League, being drafted by MI New York in Major League Cricket, and now you're playing with the San Francisco Unicorns. We spoke about this a little bit ago, but each chapter has brought new opportunities and challenges. When you look back, what did you think each of those experiences taught you about yourself and your belief in your own ability?
Um, I think starting from like if I talk about Karnataka when I play under 16s, I think the only thing that it taught me a lot of things actually, but I think I was too young to understand them. I feel like
Yeah.
understood a lot of those things in hindsight because I was not a hard worker. I don't think I was a hard worker till 2 years ago. Consistent,
Oh,
like consistently, I'd have phases of
yeah.
where I'd work super hard for like 2 months and I'd get in the best shape that I've ever been in, but then I'd relax and I'd be like, now I don't need to work hard
I'm
anymore.
good. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good, you know? I used to work hard on the cricket side of things, but when I played for Karnataka, I don't think I think what I realized is yes, I have at least that's what I feel like the coaches felt about me was that I had a certain amount of natural ability that I was gifted with, but even back then like I wasn't fit enough and I wasn't mentally strong enough because I think physical and like to be physically fit, you have to be mentally strong
Yeah.
um, to understand how those things link together. And I think obviously it gave me a huge amount of confidence because it's really hard to make any team in India, any representative team in India is just like if you do the stats on it, I don't know, it'll be something crazy like the
Much.
percentage of people who make it to any team. Like it could be under six, it could be under 14s, under 16s, any age group. Um, so yeah, it was definitely an achievement to make it, but I found it very tough when I was actually with the team because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I was personally like mentally tough enough to as especially 15-year-old. I was yeah. I was
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think definitely taught me a lot about myself that experience initially. Um I think what else did you
It's all good. Just pointing out, when you played for the USA
Yeah.
team, um,
Yeah.
that journey there, and then going to East Bay Blazers for minor league, LA Lions for the US Open Premier League, which I know
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
uh, then being drafted by MI New York, and now playing with the San Francisco Unicorns. In terms of those opportunities and those challenges,
Yeah.
do you think it taught you a lot more about yourself. For example, I know we spoke about MI New York earlier, but
Yeah.
finally getting, your opportunity with the San Francisco Unicorns. Um, in terms of just constantly learning a bit more about yourself in those different experiences and environments, as well as your ability, if
Yeah.
there was anything more that you sort of recognized about yourself that you didn't. For example, like, yes, we spoke
Yeah.
about Karnataka and being 16, and I suppose not exactly recognizing so much about yourself, being as reflective as you are now in your 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So I think USA is actually it's funny because it's probably a similar experience
mm,
to Karnataka, which is it taught me that again, like I had a good season in minor league that year before I got picked for the US. Um, but again, that season came after like one of those phases where I worked really hard for like 2 months and played well in the season. And after that season, so the season ended, let's say in I want to say August,
okay.
and I got picked for the US in November. And between those periods, I was not really working hard.
Jeez.
And when
Okay.
I got picked to play for the US, I'd say similar experience to Karnataka, which is funny because it was like 5 years later, is that I don't think I was a professional. I don't think in my head I was professional enough um to be playing for the US when I did get picked. If I'm very honest with myself,
Yeah.
I think that's what the truth is. Um, I don't think I was as in love with the game back then as I am now. And this was right before I needed to take step away from the game. So it was actually a really tough phase for me because I was not doing that well when I was playing like in the warm-up games that I played for. I didn't obviously debut for the US, but
Right.
um, I was so far off, I feel like my potential, which is looking back at it is something I regret massively because I was so far off like when I had the huge opportunity of playing for the US, but I was like nowhere close to the player or person that I think I can be
Yeah.
back then. I think I was so far off, even like the player and person I am today, when I was playing for the US, which is a big regret of mine. And I would love to obviously get the opportunity to redeem myself and be part of the national team again. Um, so after that, the team that actually means a lot to me is the Bay Blazers, which I play for minor league, because it's the team that's almost like didn't give up on me when I gave up on
Mm,
myself, kind of
yeah.
thing. Um, like no matter, I feel like even if I'm going through a tough time and I'm out of form, like there's something about like Sanjay as the captain, Biju's the owner of Blazers, and even like the players around the setup who were like ex-captains. I think David White's an ex-captain, Angelo Pereira is an ex-captain.
Yeah.
I feel like nobody believes in me as much as the like that setup does. I think it's like playing every year I'm looking forward to playing minor league with the Blazers. Like it's a different feeling because I feel like I'm playing with some of my closest friends in the world, which is an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And winning minor league with the Blazers is like a really it's like all the boys talk about it, like how good that would be. I think
Yeah.
that's like a centerpiece of our like a lot of our conversations is how good it'd be if we win minor league with the Blazers. We've come really close like 3 or 4 times.
Yes, I've seen.
Um, so I
Yeah.
think going that extra step and winning once was something that is would be really awesome to because like winning together would be a cool feeling for all of us.
Yeah.
And I think that's taught me how much like being in a good environment can get the best out of you. I think playing for the Blazers kind of has taught me that. Like it can being playing with people that you like playing with, like it can just take your game to the next level, or it can just take your enjoyment of the game to the next level. And that's yeah, really taught me the value of camaraderie and putting the team first before yourself. I think Blazers is just a great environment to be a part of every year for I think for everyone involved. I haven't heard a single player play for our team and feel like they didn't have a good experience after because I think
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of like really, really good guys. Um, and I think I'm very grateful that I have found that team to play for. Um, LA Lions is a very fun experience. We went to US Open last year.
That was your first time.
It was my
Your
first
first.
time playing for the US. LA so it's LA Lions is basically I told you about the Afghan owner from
Yes.
here. So it was me and Abhishek Paradkar,
Hmm.
and I think we were the only two non-Afghanis in that team out
Okay.
of yeah, pretty much. Like we were the only two non-Afghanis in that team. And I think we've learned a lot about their culture
Yeah.
through that experience. And we had an absolute great time. It was in Florida, which is obviously like a really fun place to be in the winter, especially when it's cold everywhere else.
Yeah.
So the weather was great. The team environment was really fun, and I think it was a really fun tournament. So I think we really enjoyed it last year. It was my first time last year, and obviously didn't end up playing for MI New York, which is the other team that you spoke
Right.
about. Um, but the San Francisco, the Unicorns, I just finished the season with them. I've been with them for the past 2 months with the MLC in Guyana. And that's just been such an eye-opening experience for me. Like it's I've learned so much about myself in the past couple of months that and so much about the game, I think, about
Yeah.
batting in particular and the game of cricket, which has really opened my eyes to where I need to go to actually make it as a pro cricketer. Because I feel like the tactics and even the skill at like MLC level compared to anything else I've played before is
Right.
a whole new level. Because like our the the thought that went behind every single decision that was made on the field and how quickly that thought is generated was something that I realized that I have ways to go tactically in the game. Like and even skill wise, having coaches who've played at the highest level and coaches who are also really learning constantly about T20 cricket and
Yeah.
T20 batting. Because obviously like there's coaching I feel like the really cool thing about the unicorns that I felt was how much they're buying in to the intricate details of T20 cricket in particular and how like their understanding of how much the game is changing and how much they're changing with the game as well. They're not stuck in their
Yes.
ways. I
Yes.
feel like every single player and coach on that team are so forward looking about batting and the game. It was just really eye-opening experience for me and I think um yeah, I'm so grateful that I had this experience for the past 2 months. I know I didn't actually get opportunities to play
Right.
and to actually bat in a game, but I think I'm a way better cricketer for it. And being able to talk to these coaches, like I told you, I haven't had a coach in 5 years.
Yeah.
And going from that to having like unbelievable coaches in that setup who were working with me and like really invested in making me a better cricketer. I hope, obviously, I haven't played many games since I've been back. Uh, I'm really excited to see where my game is at now over the
Yeah.
next couple of months. I'm really excited and looking forward to see the impact that the past 2 months has had on my cricket. And I hope minor league happens sometime soon. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too. Yeah, because LA, East Bay Blazers have to. I'm hoping that they win. I mean, I've seen you guys play before, so yeah, it's a solid team. I'm also hoping that you guys get to lift a trophy.
yeah,
Like
glad we have
yeah,
a supporter.
yeah, all the
But
way from New York. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but
yeah,
um,
yeah, fair enough.
but yeah,
We're
yeah,
getting national, I guess. We're moving past being local.
yes, yes. Let's go with that.
That's a good sign. But yeah, I think I'm really, really grateful for the experience I've had over the past 2 months. Like,
Hmm.
um, I think, as I said, skill wise and tactically, I feel like I've seen I've seen some of the best in the world
Yeah.
for the past 2 months, and the way they think about the game and the way they actually play the game. And I think I've been really good about asking, probably annoyed people with the amount of questions I've asked,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with. 'Cause,
As you should be, I think it's a
yeah,
blessing when you kind of get all that knowledge, and
yeah.
especially on hand, when you're just connecting and networking with so many people.
Yeah, yeah, and I wouldn't say I was doing much networking because I'm really bad at I think that side of things, but definitely trying to learn as much as I can about the game. Like
Okay.
talking to even my fellow players, talking to Finn Allen, talking to Matt Short, talking to Luan about batting was
Yeah.
like, and even talking to like the local guys that I haven't gotten a chance to speak to before, like Hassan, who's like one of the most talented people I've
Gosh.
ever like one of the most talented cricketers
Yeah.
I've seen on a cricket field. Um, Talking to Hassan, talking to Finn, Matt Short.
Mhm.
Obviously, I talk to Sanjay all the time, because he we play for the same team. And like the coach, like Cam White, his tactical understanding of the game, seeing that in person, like
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't even like he'd make a split-second decision, but there'd be like a whole like there'd be a crazy amount of thought behind it, but he'd be thinking on his feet, and that just taught me that how much of like how much experience matters
Yeah.
and why I need like what I need to be striving towards. Basically, I think I've realized that. I think you realize the benchmark of where what it's going to take to make it as a pro in T20 cricket, and you realize what it's going to take for you to actually get there and like how much work you need to put in. So I think unicorns has just been an experience of a lifetime, and I think
Mhm.
not many people get the opportunity to be part of a setup like that. So I'm very, very grateful that I've had that opportunity.
Did you feel like things came full circle for you, considering that the 2023 season with MI New York you didn't get to play, but you were a part of the starting 11 for San Francisco Unicorns this year. Do you feel in your Major League Cricket career that that was like a full circle moment for you?
Um, in the moment, you're probably just like consumed by thinking about the game,
Yeah.
like that game, how like preparing mentally for that game. So I feel like I didn't really think about it in like a narrative sense of
Right,
like it being
right.
a full circle moment for me. But I mean, after the game, I felt it definitely.
Yeah.
Like once the game was done, even though I didn't get to bat, like
Right,
I
right.
definitely felt like, wow, I was like, I never thought I'd actually play an MLC game. Like I didn't think I was gonna play minor league anymore like 2 years ago
Mhm.
or 3 years ago, and I just played my first major league game.
Yeah,
Um, Definitely after the game, I felt it. Like before and during the game, um, I was just thinking about the game, so I wasn't really thinking
right.
about anything else. But after the game, I was definitely like, that's really cool that that just happened. And yeah, I think again, just very grateful that I've had this opportunity to be part of the Unicorns this year, and
Yeah.
hopefully it's. I think it's gonna have a very positive effect on my cricket.
I think so too. I think even though you don't get to bat, I think just being a part of the starting 11 and kind of seeing the way that things run tactically really opens up your eyes to that side of the game. Um, yeah, and it's fair enough that you weren't thinking about that narratively once you were in game mode.
Yeah,
But immediately after Major League, you headed to Guyana for the first time in Global
yeah.
Super League. What was that experiencing cricket in Guyana for the first time? And was there anything like the atmosphere, the food, the fans, the culture that surprised you or stayed with you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the loudest crowd I've ever played in front of. Like
Yeah.
the atmosphere was in the grounds was unlike obviously I haven't played in front of big crowds much before.
Mm.
And just being I didn't get to play a game in Guyana, but I think
Right,
even
right.
even just being there, you kind of get the feeling of what it would take to actually perform in that environment. And I think I'm also grateful that I was able to experience that in person, like experience like even being on the field, like as a fielder, because I fielded a couple of times, I realized that mentally still there's work to do for me to be able to perform in like an atmosphere like Guyana where it's loud and you're playing against the home team and
Yeah.
the pre like you I feel like if you've never experienced that before, to be on the field in front of a big crowd, it teaches you something about
Mhm.
like what it's going to take for you to succeed in that environment. And obviously, I've never been a part of that environment before where
Right.
playing in front of a loud crowd because it's also like not a big stadium, so it's like pretty tightly packed in
And
Guyana.
that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a full stadium as well. So it was like sold out whenever we played the home team. And it's a small stadium and it's like it's not a I think it's like 20,000 capacity.
Yeah. I think Providence is, yeah, about that.
Yeah, but it's 20,000 like packed in a tight space. So it feels like a cauldron of
Yeah.
noise almost.
Yeah.
And the speakers are very loud. So like the music's blasting, the bass is loud, and there's like a loud crowd as well. So I think definitely a very cool experience as well in Guyana. Um, Lovely people out there. Um, and yeah, I had a good time. I just got back yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
They're pretty fresh in my memory
yeah.
still. Um, yeah. And also I think haven't I haven't really played obviously even in training, like I was playing on Guyana wickets, which are completely different.
Yeah.
Um, the pitches in Guyana are completely different to the pitches we get elsewhere. Like they're and also seeing how other people were going about succeeding, like as batsmen, succeeding on those
Hmm.
pitches. I think that's given me a lot to think about as well. About like I saw guys like in our team there was guys like Tim Robinson and Hamad who did
Right.
really well
Yeah.
in Guyana. And from the other teams there was Riley Rousseau, there was Gurbaz. Um, I really was observing how they were going about it on really challenging conditions. The Cheyenne did really well in
Yes.
Guyana.
Cheyenne did. Yeah.
Cheyenne did well in Guyana. And I was really watching um, what they were doing. And it's given me a lot to think of and reflect on and think about like aspects of the way they were playing spin that I can add in my game. Because very honestly, like it's a bit of a running joke, but I think it's because maybe we play on concrete wickets here so much that
Yeah.
I haven't really even respected spin enough to like prepare for it, really, if I'm very
Oh,
honest.
wow.
Feel like last
Oh,
year I just
geez.
played pace and I'd be like, if there's a spinner, I'll just like deal with like I'll it's not
Yeah.
that like I'll deal with it in a game. But playing like looking at how tough playing spin was in those conditions really like opened my eyes to like how much work I need to do and
Hmm.
how much of a better player of spin I need to be and how challenging it can be to play spin in a T20 tournament where the pitch is like spinning a lot
Yeah.
and consistently as well, up and down. Um, I think that's probably Guyana was very challenging conditions. I think it's one of the most challenging conditions that I've seen a T20 tournament happen in.
Yeah.
But still see guys succeed there with the bat. I really was observing what how they were going about it and trying those things in the nets whenever I could. And I think by the end, I think I was playing much better in the nets against spin, and which is positive. And I'm going to take that as a
Yes.
positive sign and put that into
Yeah.
practice when I start playing in the US again. Um, but yeah, I think it was a very cool experience, definitely, to see how, and even in our team, Ollie Peak
Mm.
is an unbelievable player of spin.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
only 19 and he seems like he's been playing at this level for like 20 years.
It was
Uh,
diabolical.
because he's just so confident playing
Yeah.
against like established international spinners on wickets that are very conducive to spinners, to spin bowling, and he was just dominating. He honestly felt like he was dominating in those conditions. Compared
Yeah.
to, obviously, I don't think he made a big score like compared to the other guys. Like he made, I think, like three or four 30s and 40s. Um, but every game, every time he was batting, he just looked so at ease. And someone gave me this piece of advice. I think it was our manager over there. He was like, "Yeah, you obviously want to ask questions and you want to find guys who have experience, but just because somebody is younger than you doesn't mean you don't learn from them and don't ask them questions." Which is a
So true.
very
Yeah.
very true statement
Yeah.
because definitely there's a lot to learn from a guy like Ollie, the way he was playing spin, like using his feet, but also really manipulating angles, like playing different angles with his wrists and also being ready to hit that big six when
Hmm.
the ball is there to be hit. He was really putting it away, using his feet, getting deep in the crease. And even guys like Tim who were using their feet, getting deep in the crease. Hamad was sweeping a lot. So there was different
Yeah.
ways to go about it. Those different ways. So Riley and Cheyenne were almost playing a bit of cat and mouse with the bowler every ball. Like they were trying to put the bowler off their length by doing
Hmm.
something before the ball or playing a bit of faking a shot, but then going back to a different shot. So just like everyone had different methods. Um, Compared to me, I like before this tournament, my method against spin was just stand and wait for bowler to make the mistake,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Which
But the
is
margin for
interesting.
error on those kinds of wickets for spinners is just so much bigger than on flatter wickets. So
Right.
you need to actually be playing a game against a spinner. If you just stand and wait for a bowler to miss, a good bowler is not going to miss that full or that short,
Hmm.
as you need to be able to put it away for four or six. You almost need to be proactive, which is something I definitely observed a lot about the guys who were being successful in those conditions. Like all of them were doing something to put the bowler off.
Yeah.
They were being proactive. And I think that's something that I'm definitely gonna take away from that tournament and put into practice in my own game.
And I think you put it so well, just being proactive about how you approach your game and how you execute as well. Um, one thing that I found interesting was that you're also a wicket keeper. Um, and as a wicket keeper batsman, you're so involved in every single delivery. What's something that people underestimate about this position, and what do you enjoy the most about it?
Um, I think obviously what people underestimate about maybe wicket keeping is how much concentration it takes because you just need to you need to be switched on for every single ball.
Yeah.
And you almost can't react because you don't have much reaction time. You can't react if you're not switched on. Like I feel like at some places in the field you can be not switched on, but like the ball's being hit towards you and you have enough time to switch on and then react.
Mm.
But I feel like keeping you need to almost um have your routine and kind of stick to your routines of and do that every single ball. I think how challenging it can be in different conditions is because obviously there's wickets where there's a lot of variable bounce. I
Right.
feel like those wickets can be like Guyana, for example. Guyana was really challenging conditions for wicket keeping, just because of how variable everything was. With the spin and with the like the only variable in fielding is obviously the ball can be hit in different ways
Mhm.
and that the ground can be uneven. I guess but
Yeah.
usually in good outfields, like most grounds at an international level probably have like pretty standard outfields and pretty good outfields. But I guess in wicket keeping, like if the pitch really deteriorates, it can be way more challenging than the standard.
Right.
But um, you have to obviously be switched on every ball. But obviously that comes like fielding has its own challenges. So I wouldn't say one thing is definitely more difficult than the other because
I
fielding
agree.
there's um yeah, there's different challenges, there's different positions. Like keeping's obviously you can like in fielding you can be put in various positions and it's different. But in keeping it's like the same position pretty much
Hmm.
consist like all the time. Um but I enjoy obviously I think I started keeping because as a kid I was playing when I was really young, I was already playing with adults. Like I was playing with
Okay.
like not adults but maybe when I was like 10 I was playing with like 17-year-olds or
Oh, wow.
18-year-olds. So I would never get to bowl much. So I think I started keeping just because I got frustrated of not getting the chance to bowl because I was I was usually playing with people much older than me, so they'd never give
Yeah.
me bowling because I was much slower than everyone else, obviously.
Wow.
And I was also obviously much smaller than everyone else, so I was not as quick as everyone else, and I also had
Yeah.
smaller hands than everyone else. So I'd also be put in the fielding positions that weren't the most I'd be put at like third man and fine leg as a 10-year-old, right?
Oh my goodness.
And I was frustrated with not being involved with the game all the time. So I started keeping just so I could be a more central part of the
Hmm.
game and be more
That's
involved.
that's an
Uh,
interesting logic behind that.
yeah, yeah. Which in hindsight, I feel like I wish I'd stuck with bowling because all-rounders have
Hmm.
so much value.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I like being involved in I think being able to like form a plan with the bowler because I can see things about the batter that maybe sometimes the bowler misses
Right.
and being involved in kind of setting fielding angles to kind of predict which angle the ball's going to go in. And like the feeling you get when the ball goes exactly where you set a fielder is a great feeling.
Absolutely.
Because and I think even when you and the bowler plan something together and it comes off, it's a great feeling again. Because that you form that partnership with certain
Hmm.
bowlers sometimes and you can kind of predict what the batter is going to do, and you and the bowler can both form that connection of okay, he might like step out the track, you maybe like throw one down, throw one wide, or throw one down the leg side to get him stumped, or you can tell the bowler, I think he might be weak against a certain
Right.
type of delivery. And if that comes off, I think that's a fun feeling. So that's something I enjoy about keeping, and obviously being involved with every single play um, is something that I enjoy. Uh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
You've played alongside some incredible names in USA cricket, but you're also carving out your own path. Uh, as cricket in America continues to evolve every year, what's your perspective on where the game is heading, and what does it mean to you to be a part of this evolving narrative?
Um, yeah, I think all of us, all of us cricketers in the US have like a special opportunity to um, change the perspective. I guess a
Mm.
lot of the guys are doing it already slowly but steadily. Like in Guyana, for example, some of the best performers in that whole tournament were guys who are playing in the US now. Um, and I think the young guys, like the younger guys like myself and have like a special opportunity to learn from guys who've played from so many diverse cricketing backgrounds, which I guess in a lot of countries you only get guys who've played in your like if you play in India, you play guys who've made it through the Indian system. But
Right.
I guess if you play over here, you get to learn from guys who've made it at so many different countries around the world. So you get different perspectives and different methods of playing the game. So I think we had that opportunity, of course, and you also have the special opportunity of um, doing special things for a country that obviously historically hasn't been very successful at cricket, which is the US. But I think that's how most of the guys are looking at it. And I think, yeah, I think everyone wants to be part of the journey, myself included, and
Yeah.
everyone wants to be a part of su like success for the US. And I think the game's growing. I think the game's going in a positive direction. I think the final at the Coliseum, obviously the Unicorns wasn't part of it, but I actually watched the final and it was a full, like it looked like a full house
Yeah.
in the Coliseum. There was like 12,000 people there. Um, Obviously the upper stands were locked off, so they were empty, but like all the lower stands seemed full and it was like a really cool atmosphere. Special atmosphere in the Bay at the Coliseum for the final. For sure. And that's a great sign. That means the game's going in the right direction. It's pulling people from um it's pulling people who haven't experienced cricket before, which is a cool thing. Um I just hope that we have a better domestic structure. I think that's something that we're really, really, really lacking.
Yeah.
Um, which kind of leaves a lot of guys out in the wild, like in the wilderness,
It's
which is
unfortunate.
yeah, because I think the guys who are playing for the US, obviously they've earned their spots and they're
Right.
doing really well for the US. But apart from those guys, like everyone else is just like left to do figure it out by themselves, which is obviously not good for USA cricket also, because then you the guys who are playing regularly, they'll keep getting better
Yeah.
and everyone else will struggle to keep up. And then you just have a lack of competition. Because those guys are playing international cricket
Hmm.
consistently. They're playing against good bowling. They're playing against good batters. They're um, training in good conditions all the time. They're training consistently with other good cricketers because obviously they're part of the team. But I think everyone else is really, really, really working overtime to try to maintain their levels or get better because there's really no support
Right.
um, for any of us, really. Um, like being part of Major League, I think was the best training I'm going to get all year. And now, obviously, you're back to training indoors,
Yeah.
which is not a great solution for anyone at all. But that's what everyone has to do. Everyone's training indoors. Everyone's playing club cricket on concrete surfaces, which doesn't translate to success um, at a higher level. Like you could like you have people who score like double centuries in club cricket, but then when they're playing minor league on turf, they struggle because they're just playing a different sport on concrete.
Right.
It's not the same sport, and it's just not doesn't translate to playing well against higher quality oppositions. And I think that's something that I think cricket in the US desperately needs is a year-round system of people, the best players domestically playing against each other. And it's not just, and that's not just happening like we play minor league playoffs, which is like the best players from
Yeah.
different parts of the country. But apart from that, you're just playing in your little bubble. Like everyone everywhere is playing in your little local bubble, and you're not really when you come to playoffs, you're playing against the best in the country. Some, at least some like some of the best in the country.
Hmm.
When you're outside of that bubble, you're playing against them. It shows you, okay, that's the level of the best in the US, but you only get that for a week in a year.
Yeah.
And then maybe you get Houston open for a week and you get Atlanta open for another week. So that's 3 weeks where people from different parts of the country are actually playing against each other in the whole year. And then there's Major League, where obviously there's like if not many people have the opportunity to play Major League in the country. Um, so I think for cricket to grow in the US, like that's something that needs to be figured out of
Yeah.
how we can get the best players playing against each other consistently year round. And only then will we build like a proper like system of players coming through that can be ready to play for the US if needed at any given moment in time. Because other than that, you're always going to be picked and then you're adapting to that level. You're not ready for that level. You're trying to adapt and learn on the job and because you're just not playing there. You're not playing against good players and good on
Yeah.
regular surfaces consistently.
And it's unfortunate because sometimes you guys are left in the limbo about
Yeah.
you know, well, am I going to get picked? I think I performed really well in, X
Mhm.
tournament, but sometimes if you're not getting picked and your skills are quite limited to just being developed in your own bubble. But
Mm.
I agree that, there needs to be a much better infrastructure and a lot more support for the domestic players,
Yeah.
especially if you want to continue building future generations of cricketers. You need to build the current generation. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Um, I 2023 is a year that also hits me personally, and I just want to
Mm.
take a moment to go back to that because for our audiences who don't know, my New York drafted you for the inaugural Major League cricket season, but your injuries and setbacks forced you to step away from the game and then reassess your physical and mental health. Um, and I know we spoke about what that chapter looked like for you in terms of working, these jobs and trying to look at life outside of cricket. But the point where you seemed to be questioning whether you were going to leave cricket, how close did you actually come to walking away from cricket?
Um, I think in my head I'd walked away from it.
Well, okay.
Yeah, like in my head I was done. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna play anymore. And I didn't pick up a bat. Like like the side this like the thought of playing cricket used to just make me like get all these feelings up in me because there was
Mm,
like obviously so much like it was a huge part of my life before and it's a
yeah.
huge part of my life now. But even like during the time I had stopped playing, it still had been such a huge part of my life and there were so many like um feelings attached to it that it was like I get like I just didn't want anything to do with it because I feel like I thought that dream was over of like playing cricket and I yeah in my head I'd completely walked away from it and I hadn't played a game like I'd stopped playing first and then I played like a few games of minor league that year in 2023 it was. I
Yeah.
played a few games of minor league and I struggled um to even get through games. And then I just decided I'm not gonna play anymore and put my foot down. It's like enough is enough. Like you're done with cricket. Like you stop playing. And I think, yeah, in my head I'd walked away from it. And I think I started playing just because the first game I played back was I think I hadn't played a game in 7 months,
Wow.
and I hadn't touched a bat or been in the nets for 7 or 8 months. And in my head I had quit. Like I hadn't touched a bat in 7 or 8 months because in my head I'm not going to play anymore.
Right.
But this one weekend, I think I was still living at my parents' house, and my parents were out of town. Um, the one friend that I was like, Abhi was living at my parents back then for a
Oh,
year.
wow.
I think he was traveling as well, and I was just bored. Like I didn't know what to do with myself all weekend, and it's actually funny. My club captain had been texting me like the captain of the local cricket club that I used to play for had been texting me constantly through the time I'd stopped playing cricket. He'd like, "Oh, we have a game this weekend. Do you want to play?" And I'm like, "No, I've quit. Like, don't ask me anymore. I don't want to play anymore." And then he'd ask me again the next week. He's like, "Do you want to play?" I'm like, "I've quit. I don't want to play anymore."
Yeah.
And he'd keep asking, but he'd never stop asking me. Like, he'd keep asking me to play. And I kept saying no for like 7 or 8 months. It's like I don't want to play cricket anymore. Stop asking me.
At least you were
And
consistent, okay?
yeah,
In
yeah.
saying no.
But he never quit. And that one weekend I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll play. And I finally gave in um to playing and hadn't touched a bat in but at this point at least I'd started being healthy. Like that the time away from cricket I'd actually started like working out and eating healthy had become like a part of who I was and not just something that I was doing for cricket. I think in the past I used to work out only so that I'd be fit enough to be able to play cricket or fit enough to pass the yo-yo test.
Mm,
Or I used to go on these diets where I'd try to get like lose a bunch of weight really quickly and I just like not eat that much at all for a while and then I just go play. Or I just like eating healthy wasn't a part of my life. Working out consistently and enjoying working out wasn't a part of my life.
right.
But by that point, it had slowly started to become a part of my life. But I hadn't touched a bat. in 7 or 8 months before that first game, that first club
Wow.
game that I played. And I don't know what happened, but that first club game I played back, I scored like, I think I made like a 60 of 30 balls or something. And then I was like, oh, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed that. So then I was like, you know what? I'll just start playing a bit of club cricket. I'm still not going to play anything that's going to put a fear, that's going to make me think that I'm going to try to make it in cricket again. But I'm just going to play some club cricket and just like spend my weekends that way. You
Okay.
know, I'm just gonna enjoy club cricket on the weekends, and I'm just gonna be a club cricketer. And as I play, whenever I feel like playing club cricket, I'll play club cricket, and I'm not gonna play minor league because that's gonna be too much pressure. Um, I'm not gonna play any form of cricket that's gonna be pressure, basically. So I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
something I'd completely cricket had become like more. I just didn't enjoy it enough, and like it used to feel very overwhelming. Like I didn't used to go to a ground with happiness that I'm going to play cricket today. I'd almost go with the fear of failure and the fear of pressure that I was going to feel on that day. Funny enough, after that first game, I didn't do well for a while because obviously
Oh no. This is what I get for saying yes. No, but
But I think slowly I started like just having fun again.
yeah.
Like going to cricket became a fun thing that I started enjoying doing again. I started enjoying joking around with the
Mm.
guys, like having banter with my teammates and um yeah, I think yeah, that's how I started playing again.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's interesting, you spoke about pressure, and I was actually planning to ask if any sort of pressure or intimidation was an impact of why you decided to kind of step away for a period of time, if that affected you quite a lot.
Um, yeah, I think definitely. I think when you play well when you're in a good place mentally, usually.
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. Or generally you do things well when you're in a good place mentally. And I feel like around the time, obviously I had an injury, but around the time I stepped away from it, I was just um not in a good place mentally to deal with the pressures of um that the sport offer, like the sport like that you have to deal with in order to play the sport, I guess.
It's also demanding, yeah. Yeah, which
It's
makes sense.
it's part of the sport, like
Yeah.
part of any sport, I guess, and part of life is dealing with pressure and dealing with the challenges that you're up against, that you find yourself up against. And I think yeah, like I definitely, if I'm honest with myself, around the time I'd stopped playing, just wasn't dealing with the pressure of cricket well at all, definitely. Um and there's still pressure. Like pressure never goes away and
Yeah.
uh but I think so I used to play obviously I don't know if you know who David White is, but I used to play for the
Yes.
Blazers. I think he works for Major League now. So he was my opening partner and me and him actually had like a still have um a good relationship with each other. And there's this one quote that he used to tell me about then, which I don't think I fully understood back then, but it's like a quote that I really, really fall back on every single time I feel like I have the fear of failure in me, or I have the fear of um pressure. The quote, it's like a quote by, I think it's by Theodore Roosevelt.
Mm.
It's called Man in the Arena, but it's like this piece that's quite long that talks about I think it starts off by saying it's not the critic that counts. It's not the people that like criticize like that are making comments and passing judgments about the man in the arena, but it's what counts is the guy. I don't want to. I don't have it memorized.
It's
It's a pretty
fine.
long. It's like a
Yeah.
paragraph, but it basically talks about um how being ready. to fail, but be back again the next time and keep going and keep competing. Um, because you'd rather put yourself in the arena and fail, but know the joy of winning and what it takes to fail and what it takes to compete, than to be someone who's in the audience and then to be
Mm,
someone. Obviously, there's a point that you will be in the audience,
yeah.
but and there's a point that you cannot play and cannot. But in whatever field in life, like it doesn't have to be sports, it doesn't have to be um, anything athletic, but to actually put yourself out there and be um, in a position that you can fail or succeed in. Put yourself in that situation where it can go either way is a
Yeah.
scary feeling, right?
It
To put
is.
yourself
It
and
is.
anything. It can be a conversation that you have with someone. You can avoid the conversation because
Yeah.
you're afraid of whether it's going to go well or not. Or you can actually face that and then you can find out about that person and you can find out about yourself as well. So I think it's a really cool quote. I can actually find it for you. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I
because
yeah, yeah. No,
it's
because it
better.
does sound
The
beautiful.
quote will do it better, like the actual quote will do it better
Yeah.
justice than me just me trying to do
No,
it justice and I'm really not doing it. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. So
that's
that's the
beautiful.
quote. And I know it
Yeah.
says himself, but I think it applies to men and women, and it applies to people
Oh,
in general.
absolutely.
Um,
I think being vulnerable, it's very scary. But a lot of people don't realize that there's quite a bit of blessings that happen when you are vulnerable. And I think that again, we're all human. We all hold on to fear. Um, but like you even said, just taking some time out to even have a conversation. I always avoid conversations. And I think it's
right.
it's
Yeah.
it's so ironic because I work in the industry that I work in where
Yeah.
I have to have conversations.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's such a beautiful quote and it's definitely applicable. I think as you continue to grow, you don't be afraid to have that ambition. Um,
Mm. Yeah.
and that dedication to do what you do. Yes, you will fail, but
Yeah.
you pick yourself up and dust yourself off and you keep going.
Yeah, I think you have to like vulnerability means like you're risking failure and embarrassment and
Yeah,
you're risking all those things in life in general, but without without risking those things, you will never achieve the goals that you want to. And you will never even like without feeling those things, you'll constantly avoid situations where you can actually succeed. Because
yeah,
in order to succeed, you have to risk failure, right? And um I think like again, like I think it comes back to the talking about the structure in the US. Like I've been very lucky to have players who've played like David, who've played
mm,
had full careers, right? They've had full careers in obviously different countries, but they've learned so much along their journey that they can pass on to guys like me. And this is like a quote he told me 4 years ago. It still sticks with me, and I still keep going back to it all the time. Whenever I feel like the fear of failure, this is the quote that I think of. And I think about, yeah, like, yeah, you can fail, but without without being without risking failure, you will never succeed. So I keep going back to this quote, and I feel like he's learned that through his years of risking failure, succeeding sometimes, failing sometimes. And I think if guys like the future generations of cricketers in the US, if the system doesn't take care of guys who are trying to make a career right now, they will not have those people that even I did because obviously Ace brought in a lot of guys from other countries.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's going to keep happening with the way immigration in the country is going.
I
So
know. Oh
um,
gosh.
and even if that doesn't happen, like that's okay. It's okay if that doesn't happen because hopefully, I think even Ace's plan was that these we get these guys in and they groom the next generation, and then the next generation takes care of the next generation. Because I think constantly getting guys in from other countries is expensive, and it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a challenge for whoever's sponsoring their visas and whoever's. So you kind of hope that that happens to, I guess, the next generation from the ace cricketers would be guys my age or guys close to my age.
Right, right.
So you'd hope that we get those experiences and have that structure and we come through a system so we learn a lot about the game and about life so that
Mhm.
the guys who are coming in next can learn from us the way we learned from the guys that Ace brought in.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
because
just
those
the
guys,
cycle.
it's a cycle, and if we're
Yeah.
in order for that cycle to happen, like the system needs to take care of us. Um, because without that, there won't be that constant. Because I know that I've learned so much from, like, I'm the player I am today because I've had these players around me, and I've learned
Yeah.
from these guys. And um, yeah, like you hope that that cycle continues, and for that to continue, we need to have more experience and more um, yeah, it's like yeah, because we need to teach them what
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, which makes a lot of sense. You know, I think one thing that you mentioned so well, and it's just like holding on to fear. And I wanted to ask you because I'm I'm the same way where it's like the fear of failure, um, and just holding on to that. Do you think there is a cultural impact? Because I think being Guyanese, you being South Asian, you're kind of in South Asian culture, you know, we're constantly taught that we have to succeed. Like this is such a generational thing for us. Um, so I think that fear of failure impacts the way that we carry ourselves and that we always want to be successful in what we do.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that there's any sort of cultural impact with the way that that fear of failure has sort of I guess sneaked into your life?
Mm, I don't know if that comes. I think obviously in India, cricket is very competitive.
Yeah,
So you're constantly in fear of failure because there might not be a next chance. You know, because if you
yeah,
fail, that's it. Your season's over. Like there's a lot of games that you play in India where you know it's your last chance. Like if you don't do well this game, and those games come thick and fast. Like every
right.
other game could be that game in India where if you fail this game, you're out of the out of the side, and someone's going to take your spot, right? Because there's just so much competition. So, but I think fear of failure, you see that I think across cultures. I think
Yeah,
we do tend to think that it's a very South Asian thing, and maybe it is, or maybe it is like, but I think I see it across cultures where everyone wants to succeed. Nobody likes to fail,
yeah,
you know? Everyone wants to do well all the time. But I think the lessons you learn over time teach you that one failure doesn't define you. Where I feel like in the past, you see a lot of people say, like, if I don't succeed this time, I'm gonna quit. Like, I'm not gonna keep doing this.
yeah,
Or there's some people who just need to keep succeeding all the time. And the moment they fail, they're like, okay, I guess this is not for me. You know, like whatever that thing is, they were like, okay, I guess this is not my thing. Because I see in movies that the people who make it are just gifted by God and they never fail, you know? Um, and they want to be the prodigy themselves. But like what you don't realize is everyone's life you will fail at some point.
yeah,
Even Sachin got out, Bradman got out. Like, you know what I mean? Like Jordan says that he missed 70% of the shots he ever took, and he's the best basketball player ever,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I think over time you learn that what you have in your hands is you have your effort and you have, can you look yourself in the mirror and say you tried your best?
Mm.
Or can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, and even admit your shortcomings? I think a lot of people fail and they blame it on the thing that they were doing, that maybe that was not for them, or they blame it
Yeah.
on other people and they blame it on the politics of because everywhere there's politics and they blame it on the politics and they blame it on the conditions and the environment and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think until you admit to yourself that these are my weaknesses and I'm human and I have weaknesses,
Mm.
I think you will never be able to work on those things. You will never be able to get better at the things that you're not good at till you admit that I have some shortcomings and maybe I am the cause of my own failures. I think that's a very tough thing to admit to like for a lot of people, or and generally it's tough for everyone. I think that's a tough thing to admit that
Absolutely.
I am not perfect and maybe I'm failing because of things that I am doing wrong. And maybe I will succeed more if I do these things, if I change these things and I change myself and I change the way I do these things, or you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that's something that I've learned over time is that when you fail, reflect on what happened. Don't just let the feeling of failure overwhelm you and become sad that you failed. Yeah, it's okay to grieve about it for some time, but what's really important is to analyze why things didn't go your way and to really analyze everything. Maybe sometimes there was nothing wrong in your process behind something. Maybe sometimes it is the environment. So there's
Yeah.
times you need to be kind to yourself. There's times you need to assess, okay, maybe this wasn't my fault. So it's also sometimes you can beat yourself up for no reason when it wasn't your
Yeah.
fault. So I think it's what I've learned over time is to distance yourself from the result a little bit and analyze the result and not look at not look at it that emotionally. And even yourself, not look at yourself that emotionally.
Mm.
You know, like not look at your own shortcomings and your own, even your good attributes that emotionally. Because if you look at your good attributes that emotionally, you can get like a huge ego and you can get really
Yeah.
right. You can ride the highs too much and you can ride the lows too much. Like you can go like up and down so often where you can live the highs and the lows in the moment because that's what life's all about is celebrating in the moment your success and also feeling bad about um your failures in the moment.
Yeah.
But the moment that moment's gone, I think it's really important to kind of be really, really logical about because you could do really well at a bad level, but feel too good about yourself and stop
Right.
working hard and almost feel like I have nothing to work on anymore. I've
Yeah.
got this game figured out. But then before you know it, you're playing against a better team and you're completely clueless because you just haven't been working on your game. You have been working on the mental side of the game.
Hmm.
And I think that's something I've learned over time is to yeah, feel bad about things because it's natural to feel bad about failures and feel good about success in the moment, but really distance yourself from the emotions of those things once those moments are gone and assess, okay, maybe I have some weaknesses, um, and how am I going to work on them? Coming up with a plan, um, and not letting failures be the end of the world or let successes um, take you to cloud nine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you put it so beautifully. I think not everyone can take accountability for themselves, and not everyone has that capability to actually be open enough to reflect. Um, so yeah, I think you've really, you've really put that well. Um, I've also,
I disagree there. I think everyone does have
oh,
the ability to do it,
okay,
but it's just not easy to do it. I think it's
that's true.
yeah.
I also think maybe you have to go through certain things in life to sort of unlock that part of yourself where you kind of
Maybe.
recognize, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. I think you're
I
right
need
about
to
that. Maybe.
do this.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I've also experienced some seasons in my life where you've just had to, detach, recalibrate, rebuild. And I know that it can be isolating at times, but when you look back, um, do you feel like stepping away for that period of time ultimately allowed you to come back stronger, not just as a cricketer, but as a person?
Yeah, for sure. I um I think the past 2 years since I stopped playing, I've probably become a much better person than I was before. I think so. I think I've become a better um and I think I've become a better player as well. I've become more consistent because I think back in the day because I didn't have any consistency in my methods, I was not a consistent player either. I think I've become much more consistent at every level that I play. I think I've become someone that some people can rely on more. I think I've grown a lot. I've become more mature, I think. I think it's yeah, most definitely. I think stepping away for that period of time has made me a better person and a player. I'd say so. Yeah.
You've lived in Bangalore, built a life in California, represented the United States, stepped away from cricket, found your way back, continuously making an impact. When you look back at those chapters, which version of yourself are you most proud of becoming and why?
Um, Definitely the person I am today, I think. I'm most proud of who I am today because of um I think where I was in life at one point to be able to come out of that and get back to playing and get back to just um being a happy person, I think. And being good to the people around me, like I think at least having the intention of being a good influence on everything around me and everyone around me, I think is something I strive towards now. Um, Realizing that I'm always a part of something much bigger than myself,
Yeah.
whether that be my family or the people around me or the world around you in general, like you're part of it all. So I'm definitely, I think, most proud of all the versions and all the phases of my life. I think I'm most proud of who I am today by a considerable distance, I think. Yeah.
That's fair enough. No, and I mean you've gone through a lot, but I think it's been amazing learning about how much you've grown. Um, and it takes a lot of vulnerability to be accountable, to reflect, and to recognize those different chapters in your journey. All right, Saideep, we are going to switch gears to a quick fire round.
Okay.
No pressure. Are you ready?
No, but sure, let's
Oh,
go. Let's do it.
I promise it'll be fine. You'll be fine. Um, if I opened your music playlist right now, what are the top three songs I'd find?
Hmm. I think it'd be good question. I can actually open it up right now. Tell you
Yes, please.
for real what the top three songs would be. Okay. So let's see. I think I listen to a lot of country music. Not country, but like folk music.
I've never met anyone who's listened to as much country as I do. This is
Really? Yeah.
nuts.
So I think Sam Barber has been at the top of my list.
Oh my God,
Uh,
yeah.
so I've been listening to this song called Let Me Down by him.
Mm,
That's been yeah, I listened to that quite a lot recently. Um, listening to I listen to Punjabi music. So I've been listening to this guy called Prabh Singh. I listen
okay.
to this song called Sunflower. I think that'd be the song I listen to a lot. And Choosing Texas by Ella Langley.
Gotcha. Um, you're hosting a fantasy cricket dinner. Which three cricketers, past or present, are getting an invitation?
Ricky Ponting.
Mm,
Um, just because he's my favorite batter.
yeah.
Uh, Sachin because it's Sachin,
It's
of
Sachin. You
course,
have to.
of course. And past or present, so they have to be alive or no? No. I think Shane Warne. I think he'd have some good
Mm.
stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, no,
Okay.
I take that back. Viv
Okay.
Richards. Viv Richards.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
It's just batting. I just want to talk batting, you know? I don't want to really,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fair. At least I know what the conversation at the cricket dinner will be.
Yeah.
Um,
They
if the
probably get
San
annoyed by me in 30 minutes and leave just
Oh
because about
gosh,
how many
imagine.
questions I'm asking.
You guys got to check this kid out. I mean, technically they can't. You did invite, you're hosting the damn dinner. They can't kick you out. But if the San Francisco Unicorns had a talent show, who'd win?
Good question. I don't really know much about anyone else's, what their talents are really. I know, Robbo is good at fishing.
Hmm,
And Tim Robinson, I think, is a good outdoors guy. I think
okay.
he's good at. I think he hunts a bit and fishes a
Yeah.
bit. So I think I think he's pretty talented at that. Luan, I think Luan's also a good hunter. What else? Talent show. But obviously, I don't think you can do that at a talent show. Maybe an outdoorsy talent show. Uh, but I don't really know much about anyone else's talent, so I'll just say me. I think
Okay.
I'd win. I
Um,
think I'd bust out a few tunes on my guitar, and I think it'd be
okay.
between me and Sanjay. Me and Sanjay. Between me and Sanjay.
Interesting.
Don't know much about anyone else's talents. I think it's just because of that.
Okay. Fair enough. Who'd win from these Bay Blazers?
I think me and Sanjay again.
Wow, okay.
Because talent show, I'm thinking I don't know anyone who does magic. I don't know anyone who's like particularly good dancer. So it's
Okay.
just music and music. I think the only two guys who do it is me and Sanjay. So I think it'd have to be
Okay. You
one
guys
of
are
us
winning
two.
by a landslide, both competitions. What's the most Bangalore thing about you?
Huh. Most Bangalore thing about me. I don't know. It's,
Okay. It's
I
okay to
don't,
not know.
yeah, I don't, maybe I say bro. I say bro a lot. I think
Oh, okay.
when I talk to people from okay, yeah, the most Bangalore thing about me is when I talk to people from Bangalore, I start
Yeah.
using all the Bangalore slang. Like I think we say what do we say peak. We say it's just like we say a lot of Bangalore slang of I don't know, it's tough to say like okay, I'll skip the actual slang of it all, but we say
But that's
da
the most.
da like I say da for bro, but
Oh,
you'll say
okay.
that like instead of bro in Bangalore, you'll say da. It's like
Hmm.
what's up da? It's like bro,
Okay.
what's up bro? So that's I gotta say that. When I speak to someone from Bangalore, the most Bangalore thing about me would be how I become like
It's
I
sort of
start
like code switching, but you do
I'll
it so
definitely
naturally.
yeah
Yeah.
I'll do it
Yeah.
without even realizing it. It'll happen naturally.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get that. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with me. I think being so American, but also like switching in Guyanese mode all the time with
Yeah.
with family and friends. What's the most California thing about you?
Uh, love avocado, love the beach. Um,
Okay,
I guess pretty into health and fitness.
okay, totally a Californian thing. You're stranded on a deserted island with five other guys from this year's Major League Cricket tournament. Who's cooking?
Yeah.
Building the shelter, eating all the food, getting lost within the first 5 minutes, absolutely convinced they know the way, but definitely don't, already building a raft to escape. So I'll go through them with you. Who's cooking?
Who's cooking? I'll say myself. I'll
Okay.
cook. Yeah, I'll cook.
Avocado. Building the shelter.
Building the shelter. This is Major League, not Guyana, right?
Yeah,
Or
well,
can
I
it?
mean, if you can, we can totally be flexible and
Okay, I'll
yeah,
include both. I'll include both.
okay.
Who's building the shelter? Can it be coaches included?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say Cam White. Tactical mind. Yeah, I think
okay.
he head coach. Head coach be think he'd be a good builder.
Okay. Who's eating all the food?
Sanjay. Sanjay kind of actually no, that's wrong. Ani Emmanuel eating all the food.
Oh wow.
Ani
Um,
Emmanuel's eating all the food.
didn't expect that one. Who's getting lost within the first 5 minutes?
Janoy. Janoy.
That one I expect.
Janoy is taking a little wander,
Yeah.
leaving everyone else
Um,
doing his own thing.
who's absolutely convinced they know the way, but definitely don't?
I'd say myself there as well. That's
Oh, you're double duty then. You're
yeah, I'll double
cooking
duty.
and
I don't want to say anyone else. I don't want to
okay.
say because I feel like that'd be kind of rude and mean, so I'd say myself.
Okay. Who's already building a raft to escape?
Uh, Ravi Ashwin is thinking a
Oh,
step ahead.
okay, out of the six of you guys, who's accidentally sinking this raft?
Again, I don't want to be mean, so I'll say myself. I'll say
Okay.
I don't want to put any
Okay.
controversial opinions out there.
Gotcha. Well, that wraps our quick fire round. But before I let you go, if you could tell your younger self something right here, right now, what would you tell him?
Um, I think I'd say connect whatever you do to something deeper. Don't do anything just for the rewards that you want to gain from them, and do everything that you do because it means something more to you. And that's what I tell my younger self.
I like that. I think throughout this conversation, one thing I picked up on is that you're not surface level. And I think that's that's a beautiful thing to tell your younger self, and I think he would appreciate that a lot. Um,
Yeah, I think that'd be good advice.
well, Saideep, thanks so much for joining me today on Between the
Yeah,
Wickets.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Of course, and to our audiences, if you like this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Until next time, I'm Krystal Ramroop. See you on the pitch.